I've coached thousands of sales calls, and it's staggering how many times a sales rep does not ask a prospect if they actually want to do business. I made this mistake for a ton of years. Here's a lot of times what happens. If it's a person that's going to buy from you, they'll usually make it pretty clear towards the end of your call or presentation or pitch or discovery call, whatever it is, that they want to do business with you. Those are the easy ones. The hard ones, and I would say these are on average more often than not, are the ones where you're getting towards the end, and based on the questions you've been asking or the things that you're discussing, you don't really technically know if they want to do business with you or not. That's not the mistake. The mistake is sales reps, instead of just asking them if they actually want to do business, they just start asking them all about their process. You can learn about their budget. You can learn about who would need to sign off on it for approval. You can learn how they would pay you and what form of payment and how long they would need to do it. That does not mean that somebody wants to do business with you. Sales reps get tricked into thinking that because they've gathered a lot of information about how their process works, that somehow means they're about to get a deal. And that just is not the case. And that leaves a lot of, it makes things very fuzzy and you don't have a lot of clarity moving forward. And this is why you get to the end of a month or the end of a quarter and you're trying to close something up. You'll call or email these people back and they just either ghost you or they tell you no, they don't want to do it, and they give you very little explanation. And you, meanwhile, are thinking, we had this great conversation and I learned all about your process and how many people you had and how much money you had. Why didn't this come in? Well, you have to understand that it may not have ever come in to begin with. You just failed to ask early on if you should actually pursue it or not. So here's a really simple way to do it, especially if you're struggling to find the words of what to say. When you get towards the end of a call and you're really trying to figure out where this thing is going, just ask them. It's very simple. Just say something like this. Hey, John, I know we're about up to our time. Obviously, there's basically two directions that we could take from here. The first is if it's something that you want to do, we can talk about next steps and how that would work and who would need to be involved. At the same time, if you're like, hey, Josh, thanks, but no thanks, that's okay too. What would you like to do? By putting the ball in their court, you're going to either get an answer of yes, this is something they want to continue to pursue and do, or you're going to get a no. If they tell you yes, great, you can talk about next steps. If they tell you no, now you have potentially a chance to overcome whatever objection they might have. And if you can't overcome it, that's okay. You can just not pursue that and not put it in your pipeline. But at least this way, you won't get towards the end of a month or a quarter pursuing something that was a giant waste of time.